Good. So we are live on social media. And then you can share screen, play the video, but still there is 1 minute if you
Okay.
want. Okay. Thank you. I'll leave it to you. I'll be here to help if there's any.
Don't worry, it's going to be a nice, easy conversation. You all know me.
You should do it that way.
The rose. Sure.
We have a seat on this side so we can. Thank you very much.
This is the pose. This is the pose panel. This is, see, this is, yes, yes, yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Just remember, it is live streaming on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch or something like that. So you are live now, and when you're ready, you can start.
Okay, play the video.
Hello.
Play the video.
Here's to the ones who share bonds and knowledge, who soar to new heights and build bridges. Here's to fearless voices that speak for what matters, who see beyond and do something about it, who seek knowledge and justice, helping us see life from a new lens and speak truth. In every lab, every library, and every hall, here, every day is Women's Day. But today, we're more than happy to talk about it. Abu Dhabi University, 20 years of shaping the future.
Hello, everyone, and a very, very good afternoon. I would like to say marhaba. I would like to say namaste. I would like to say annyeonghaseyo, because even I can do it in Korean, apparently. And I would like to say a big welcome, not only to our audience that's watching us over LinkedIn, watching us over Facebook, watching us over Teams, watching us over YouTube. I want to wish everyone a very wonderful International Women's Day. And as such, let's get started. Our panel, Dr. Sufyan, how do you feel being the only man among the roses?
Extremely empowered.
That's good.
Yes.
I'm so glad. Well, I'm glad you're feeling empowered, because that's how we should be. And I thought before we just kick off, we could perhaps, I could give you like a riddle. Okay, so something to think about. Are you ready for my riddle? Yes? No, you're not ready for the riddle? It's okay, it's okay. Let's see how it goes. So a father is about to bring his son to a job interview, okay, who is applying for a position at a very large stockbroker's company in the city. Just as they arrive at the company's parking lot, the son's phone rings. Tring, 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 tring. He looks at his father, who says, "Go ahead and answer it." And the caller is the trading company's CEO, who says, "Good luck, son. You've got this." The son ends the phone call, again looks at his father, who's still next to him in the car. How is it possible? Can you tell me? Anybody? Just think about it. How is this possible? You know, I was hoping that we would go into, you know, this long drawn out. Who is it? Is it the grandfather? Is it the son? Is it, you know, everything? But bang on, you got it. Exactly. It was the CEO was his mother. So women make great CEOs and great leaders as well. Yet only 5% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women. So the campaign theme for this International Women's Day is Inspire Inclusion. So when we inspire others to understand and value women's inclusion, we forge a better world. And when women themselves are inspired to be included, they have a sense of belonging, they have a sense of relevance, and they have a sense of empowerment. So collectively, we would like to forge a more inclusive world for women. So with that, I am going to give now the floor to our resident advocate for women empowerment, which is our chancellor, the one and only Dr. Ghassan, Professor Aoud. Dr. Ghassan, are you?
Thank you. Thank you,
there you
Jennifer. And good afternoon and welcome to this very important panel discussion. I'm absolutely delighted that I'll be doing an introduction. A subject I'm very passionate about. You are absolutely right, Jennifer. And if you don't support, I put it on LinkedIn, if you don't support women, then you are not supporting the most precious people in life, your mother, your sisters, your daughter, your wives, your nieces, your cousins, and so on, your female friends and colleagues. And so it's our moral and professional duty to support women. And happy International Women's Day to all my female colleagues, staff, students, faculty, alumni, our business partners. And when we talk, the theme of the International Women's Day this year is inspiring inclusion. We're not talking here about favors. We're talking about opportunities. We're not talking about quota, we're talking about abilities. And look at the performance of female students in universities across the globe now. This is a universal fact. They are just, I think, overpassing the male students by far. So this is reality. When it comes to real life, then some figures, I think, Jennifer, you may have mentioned few, but I tried to get some figures myself as well. A report published by Deloitte in 2022 showed that in 2021, only 19.7% of boards are made of women, and only 6.7% of boards are chaired by women. Imagine, so they do extremely well in university, but in real life, they don't. And this is questionable now. But there are some really positive news. A report by Women Power Gap in the United States showed that 30% of the research elite institutions in the United States are led by women, an increase between 2021 and 2023 from 22% to 30%. This is a fantastic achievement. There's no question about it. I also looked at the highest position of countries led by a president or prime minister. And we have seen women in a position of prime minister, executive power, or president in just 59 countries out of 200, still 25%. This is since 1960. But since this time, 77 women have had the most powerful positions of executive power in their respective countries. When Bandaranaike was first elected Prime Minister of Sri Lanka in 1960, she was the first woman to be in power, in fact. And the figures have grown bigger in the last 15 years, in fact. And at the beginning of 2023, there were 15 countries led by women, which is a fantastic achievement. Of course, there should be more. But this showed that maybe we're moving in the right direction, but still a lot of work to do. By inspiring women, we are benefiting from 50% of the population's knowledge and abilities. And so by inspiring them, by including them, we're adding value to the economy, to our universities, to our institutions. So have no choice but to do it. I'm absolutely delighted to see a very powerful panel today. I'm very, very proud of my colleagues who are presenting today, and Dr. Sufyan as well. But I think this is this is such an important topic, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ghassan. Now, I was going to, I've been given the panelists' bios, and I'm thinking, how am I going to introduce such a group of, wonderful people who had such a range of years of experience in leadership? And I'm thinking, how? At first I thought, should I make them introduce themselves? Should I introduce them? Should I read their extremely long bio? But I thought we'll just do a quick one, if that's all right with you. So okay, so I will start first with Dr. Tina. Dr. Tina, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, brilliant. Dr. Tina is our Chief Learning Officer, and she's our very special guest on our panel. Dr. Tina, could you just go ahead and just briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you remotely, although I am based in Washington State. I am the Chief Learning Officer for Knowledge Group Consulting, and our office is, as most of you know, based at Abu Dhabi University. I am originally from the Seychelles Islands. Grew up there and then went to school in the UK, where I got my bachelor's in English from University of London. Then moved over to the US and did my graduate studies, which culminated in my PhD in education in 2017. I've worked in academia for a big chunk of my career, especially in higher ed. I was at Capella for over a decade, where I was overseeing instructional design for online learning, designing courses, working with diversity, equity, and inclusion office as well to study factors that affect the grades of minority students. Then after I graduated, I went over to the corporate settings and I worked at Thomson Reuters and then United Healthcare companies in the US mainly, but also global. And then transitioned to Emeritus before joining KGC. And at Emeritus, I was again in design and development of online learning. What else? I am a single mother of a 16-year-old teenager. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to how that goes. And I'm super delighted to be here. This is just an amazing opportunity, and I look forward to the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. I mean, wow, a 16-year-old teenager, Dr. Tina, you are Wonder Woman, I tell you. Wonder Woman. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to go to Miss Layla, who is our senior manager. Yes, our senior manager of admissions and recruitment. Miss Layla, could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Layla Kruma. I'm the Senior Manager for Admission and Enrollment in Abu Dhabi University. Coming with a background of 24 years in education sector. I took several positions in a leader institutes, private or government universities. I took also positions. I started from like small positions and I grew to become a supervisor in higher colleges of technology. After 18 years, and then I shifted to Abu Dhabi University in 2012. And now I'm here with more than 11 years in Abu Dhabi University, surrounded with the lovely and nice ladies who support me all the time. And I'm a holder of two degrees, two master degrees, one of them in quality management from Wollongong, Dubai, and another one, educational leadership from Abu Dhabi University. And I'm working with a nice group of staff, and also I'm working closely with students and parents. And I have a passion for education and supporting students to achieve their goals. And this is why I'm here. And thank you very much for asking me to be part of this nice panel. It's very nice to be there. And also, I would like to say thanks for Abu Dhabi University for bringing such opportunity all the time to support us as a female and also try to help us and mentor us all the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Layla. And up next, I'm going to go to our jet-setting faculty member. Ever since I've known Dr. Fawzia, she's always jet-setting to another corner of the globe. So Dr. Fawzia, our jet-setter, could you introduce yourself?
Well, thank you very much for a fantastic introduction, or you can say just kicking off. And I can feel the adrenaline rush in
I know, right?
in the audience as well. So a very good evening to everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fawzia Jabin. I'm a full professor of management in the College of Business at Abu Dhabi University. And I feel very much proud to say that when I joined Abu Dhabi University as an assistant professor, I was naive in research, naive in teaching, naive in service activities. And the fantastic and extraordinary development that I can see in my personality as well as in my professional development. I would like to give the accolade to each and everyone present here as well as who are behind the scenes. Kudos to all the people who support each other, and whatever I'm today, definitely Abu Dhabi University has paved a path. So this is a fantastic platform to talk about inclusion, and definitely I'm going to talk about this more. I have 20 years of teaching, research and service experience. I'm also the visiting professor, as she has said, jet skiing. Yes, of course I am. I love traveling. And this is one of the reasons people invite me as a consultant trainer, as well as I'm also the visiting professor at Burgundy School of Business in Dijon. I teach in English in France. So that's the most important thing. I don't know French, unfortunately. And in terms of my publications, I have published more than 130 research papers. People feel that I'm a superwoman. I'm not. As I said, that there is a team working behind me. The team is my family. And I personally feel that the empowerment and inclusion starts from home.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to shed more light on that.
Good.
And I'm super proud to be associated with Abu Dhabi University and working with such a fantastic team, who are the proponent of inclusion, diversity, and many other things at workplace. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. So up next, thank you so much, Dr. Fawzia. Up next is our Rose, Dr. Sofian. Thank you so much, Dr. Sofian, for being here with us. Of course, Dr. Sofian will introduce now himself. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm privileged and honored actually to be among this, great leaders here, especially on this day. And so I am Sofian Maghaida, and I'm the acting dean of the College of Health Sciences, and I've been in Abu Dhabi University for almost a year and 4 months so far. And it's really the best thing happened in my life. And since I became a dean, I always been talking, I talked to Dr. Ghassan. I told him, the College of Health Sciences is very special, and we are not short of really gender integration. And, the overwhelming majority is basically women. And I've been telling him that, to the chairman, to the board, to Dr. Ghassan, thank you for giving me the highest honor in my life to lead such a gifted and talented people and empowered leaders. And this will be always, most, highest and a milestone in my life. So I am originally from Jordan, and I'm a father of 2 boys, 12 and 10. I got my bachelor's degree from Jordan. I pursued my master's and PhD from the United States, and I have a long career in teaching, about 19 years so far. I look forward actually to talk about this subject because it's also personal to me a lot. I'll be talking more about how my father used to, and then also my wife, she was really famous in this. She works for the World Bank as a gender, and woman empowerment in the economy and all of that. So
That's great.
I look forward to that. Thank you
Yes,
so
we do
much.
too.
And thank you
so
again
much.
for inviting me.
Thank you. And up next, of course, we have the beautiful, the curly-haired equestrian. Now, yes, she is. I love it. The thing about Miss Christina, every morning when I used to walk in, I see her in her riding boots, and I said, who is this fabulous person leading such a fabulous life? Tell us, Miss Christina, tell us.
I'm always waiting to get the reprimand for coming to work looking like that, but I changed quickly. Stuff fast. So yes, I'm Christina. I'm originally from Canada, but I have to say that I on a wish and a whim, I wanted to experience a different culture and find meaningful work, and I had no idea how it would the pieces would fall into position, but I found myself here in the UAE and hired and working for Abu Dhabi University. And honestly, I wouldn't have been able to progress and learn and develop to the extent that I have if I would have stayed in Canada. Very hard to admit that, but it's a fact. And I'm honored today to be sitting with all of you today and to discuss our experience of growth and where we're going, and hopefully not so serious, a bit of play as well. So,
Okay, great. And of course, last but not the least, all the way from Guyana via Antigua, Barbados, the one, the only, my manager, Miss Allison Hamilton. Go ahead.
Get the energy, Jennifer.
No,
My God,
I'll
Jennifer,
not tell
the
you.
energy.
I'll
Thank
tell you,
bring
I'll
the
tell
energy.
you.
If we're tired this afternoon, Jennifer will definitely make us energized. Okay, I'm Alison Hamilton. Again, as Jennifer said, I'm from Guyana, the only English-speaking country in South America. We moved to Antigua with my husband. I'm always moving with him. He's the one moving first. So I moved with him. And then like Tina is also from the same region I'm from. Tina, I think, is from Dominica, and we're all part of the CARICOM group. And then we moved to the UAE again with my husband. My first job here in the UAE actually was at Higher Colleges of Technology. Then I went into K-12 education, started up all the Bloom schools, and that the schools that fall under Bloom are Brighton College, Dwight, and some nursery schools. And then I decided, you know what, let me come back into higher education. Abu Dhabi University was perfect at the time and still is. It's a great place to empower women. I find women here are very empowered. We have the College of Health Sciences with a lot of empowered women. I really, really admire that college and admire all the women in that college. This subject is a very subject that is close to my heart, empowering women, inclusion. As Professor Ghassan said, 6.7 women are holding high positions in the world. We need to change that balance. And the only way to change that balance is by us taking our place seriously and understanding that we can be recognized and we can do the job. And we need advocates. Advocates is a very important thing. So as we delve into the topic, Jennifer, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
I'm excited too. So as you have now met our wonderful panel, so I hope and of course, my name is Jennifer, and I'm going to be your moderator and hopefully keep you on your toes for the next 45 minutes. It's going to be great. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. Remember, like, share, subscribe. We are Abu Dhabi University here in the United Arab Emirates. Don't forget to hit that like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. And do not forget to hit and follow us. Follow along our journey, all right? So here we go. So the first question. Now, everyone is looking at me like, golly, who is she going to pick? They're like, who is she going to throw the first stone to? So let me start off with the rose, Dr. Sufyan. Dr. Sufyan, how best can women's economic empowerment be harnessed to advance structural barriers to gender equality and bring about gender transformation? Your thoughts?
Well, thank you for the question, but I'd like to say I always follow ladies first. So I'm not sure if I am the right person to start talking, but I seek a permission with all my due respect. Thank you. We live in technology is the norm, the new norm right now. I mean, that's if you don't keep up with this, I think you will fall behind. And that's, if you look at it from a positive point of view, probably e-learning is the best. And I always believe that learning and educating either men or women, but especially women, of course, speaking on this occasion, is very powerful and the right way forward for them to assume leadership roles and to achieve what they want. But in terms of technology, probably e-learning right now, I mean, we have to put to use technology, and we live in the information age right now. So probably they will have more access to get, a good education, and a good education will empower them, of course, will grant them more opportunities and will open more doors. And we also have, technology we could also put to use technology in terms of e-lancing, which is if, they could, they can do such projects and freelancing while they don't have to move to another country while they are at their country of residence. They also, they have to take advantage of all this online, applications that's going on through banking and financing, getting more independent, and healthcare, applications and all these things. And we have to put to use all these technology in order to improve the quality of women's, and more important is basically the education part. So I do believe that, if put all these things that I just outlined all together, that will play a big role in empowerment and inclusion.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sophia. Now, the reason why I started off with you is because now my next question is going to go to Miss Allison. So, Miss Allison, if you could pass that, what role do male allies play in fostering a culture of inclusion and gender equality?
Jennifer, you had to give me the most controversial question.
I did.
This is a very interesting topic because as women and girls, because we can't forget girls, girls play a very important role as we move forward for inclusion of women. And we have to empower our girls from a very young age. And with that empowerment comes the father figure, the male figure in their lives. We can't ignore that traditionally men feel that they are empowered and the women follow. I know I began by saying that I followed my husband, and I actually told him that he'll be following me the next move. So for saying that, we have to understand that we have to empower our girls, also then empower women, and as they grow into women. Having said that, men need to be more cognizant of the things that women can bring to the table. They need to be more understanding, first of all. They need to accept that we bring a different perspective to the table, and they need to be open to those different perspectives. If men start to do that, we will see a shift in the inclusion dynamic. We will definitely see more women sitting at tables. We will definitely see more women involved in decision-making panels. Men play a vital role in all aspects of women's lives, and we cannot deny that, from birth, from inception all the way to our working life. And men need to understand that those roles now, the roles are shifting. And they have to understand a little bit more that we, as women, have a voice. And they need to recognize that voice and give us a level playing field to be able to partake and be able to contribute. Having said that, I think at boardrooms and in certain meetings, men need to remember to call on their female colleagues for their opinion. And if those female colleagues are not in the room, to include their voices in those decision-making aspects. Sometimes the women may not be able to be present at those meetings, but you can also take their thoughts and their opinions and share them because you have the platform. So you can use that platform to empower women in the background. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, I would like to tag another question onto that, but I don't know whether my guest panelist is there. This guest does not know they were a guest panelist. Dr. Hamid, are you still there? Dr. Hamid?
Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Dr. Hamid, you're my surprise guest panelist for just one question. Dr. Hamid Odabi is our Vice Chancellor for Financial and Administrative Affairs. He is also our resident tech genius. So I thought, since this is such an important topic, I'm just going to ask him a question as well. Dr. Hamid, what are the ways men can be good allies? What do we need to do to engage and inspire male advocates? What do you think?
Male or female?
Advocates. Male advocates. How can men, what are the ways men can be good allies? And how can we engage and inspire male advocates?
Yeah, I think it should start by a genuine belief of the contribution that female will be able to do. And we have seen female in many areas, they are doing excellent work. And we need those male who will be mentoring, supporting, advising, similar to what they do to the other male people, to have that thing first. And then we are equal at the end. We have the same thing, but Alison said, the female bring other perspective. We don't think of it. We don't get, for example, pregnant. We don't understand emotional things as better as the female do. We are not mothers. We are not being raising kids and looking after them. So the female will bring great things, especially in education, because we're dealing with young generation, and the young generation need that care. They need to feel that someone caring about them. Once they feel that someone caring, they will do more of that. So I think the male who will be helping, mentoring, allying, supporting, they should first understand these areas where the female will do much better than the male because of their nature, because of their strength in that area. And next, I think we should be treated equally in everything else, and that's no question about it anywhere. And there should be nothing else, I think, different in mentoring and supporting a male from female, except understanding the areas that they will be doing better than us as men. And of course, there are areas where we can maybe do better in it, and recognizing those areas, I think, is important for anyone who want to make a genuine contribution. I wasn't prepared for this question, Jennifer.
You know, for someone who wasn't prepared for it, Dr. Hamid, you did brilliantly. So well done. Thank you so much. But I'm going to take a key word from your statement, which was mentoring. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to open a whole nother avenue now about mentorship. So I'm going to start with my lovely Miss Christina. Miss Christina, about mentorship. What role do mentorship and networking opportunities play in fostering the next generation of women leaders, and how can these be scaled up to reach women more globally?
I think that this is so important, and I can first speak from my own experience, because I've had the opportunity now as the office director and the secretary of the board of directors to work directly with influential leaders, and particularly our wonderful chairman, Dr. Ali bin Harmal al-Dahri. And even when the days are crazy, there's usually, after almost 2 decades, a lot of mentoring that is going on. And some of his magic business and fairy dust and hope has blown off onto me. And I've just been so grateful to have his input, his guidance, and reorienting of thinking to, when you have somebody who has that visionary thinking, and they can help you realign and open your eyesight to something else, it's a different experience. And then everything you look at looks different. It's a brighter red, it's a brighter green, yeah. It's a different color. And now that I've had this experience, I try to share my knowledge with anybody that I work with. I think that we must not be, it's a moment of weakness when we think that we need to hold what we know to ourselves. When we open our hand and we open our heart and we share what we know, we share our knowledge, everybody's successful.
That's true.
There's no reason to feel that you will lose out.
True, very true.
And I like to think that being in the educational sector and in the university, we have that opportunity just walking down the hallways. I love walking on the female side to see how vibrant our girls are and how confident they are. I often think that I wish at 22, I had the confidence they have, because it took a long time to develop that for myself. And in terms of making it, taking it broader to try to reach women everywhere, I think the internet is a tool that definitely needs to be exploited. And we have that with Dr. Hamid's wonderful program and the university's wonderful program that's expanding and building in the community. We have so many incredible programs for free that people couldn't attend, put the time aside. And even some of them are, you get your certificate of attendance, or you do your homework. And so with the internet, and I guess you have to then ask yourself, how do we make it available in the areas where it's harder? But if they can get access to the internet, more and more we need to put the knowledge out there and the knowledge to share. And hopefully we take everybody up with us.
Yes, that's fantastic. You know, that's, you know, even with you saying that, it just reminds me of how blessed we are to be in this part of the world. especially here in the United Arab Emirates, where its leadership is constantly investing in its women, I mean, and empowerment. And I mean, it's magnificent to see how the Emirati women are coming up as future leaders, global leaders. It's that strikes something. Go ahead.
I did, because I was just taking some notes before I came here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, okay, first of all, Sheikh Al Yazia bin Sultan Al Nahyan was the first woman in the UAE to get her helicopter pilot license.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
And the first Emirati woman to be selected as an astronaut is coming up.
Mm.
Noura Al Matrushi. In her, she hopes to do her moon mission, right? And then even we were so lucky to have, she's unfortunately no longer a board member, but we were, you know, it was precious to have any of her time because she was so busy, Miss Elham Al Qasim. And in 2010, she was the first Arab Emirati woman to cross and reach the North Pole.
Wow.
She went on a skiing expedition. I'm Canadian, I stay home. Okay. And then there's Etihad. Etihad has the first female Emirati captain of a commercial flight in 2022.
Wow.
Captain Aisha Al Mansouri.
That's amazing.
There we go.
The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. It's amazing. Just hearing about those women inspires me. Jennifer, what are you doing with your life? Need to do more. But now, since we have asked, thank you so much, Ms. Christina. So now we're going to move to Dr. Tina. So Dr. Tina, a question for you on mentorship. How can we expand women's links to each other? Example, mentorship, coaching, and networking. So how can we expand these women links to each other? Dr. Tina?
Yes, so thank you. Sorry, I was
Okay.
on mute.
That's all right.
I think mentorship and sponsorship is really a great way for women to stand in solidarity with each other, but also when we look at the men as allies to women, this is an area where they can play a significant role. So we need to focus on offering guidance, advice, and support through these kinds of programs, especially as it relates to experienced professionals who can mentor the less experienced ones and help them achieve their goals. I think also when organizations can act as sponsors by advocating for women's advancements within their own setting, so within each organization, this will allow for room for promotions that will allow women to move into the fields where that are typically dominated by males. But I think also related to mentorship is the ability to create and participate in networks and communities that support women's professional and personal development. And these can be, industry-specific groups that are led by women's leadership forums, for instance, online communities. We have to really make use of the online platform to kind of accelerate women's empowerment. There's also a lot of opportunities, especially in education, to share job openings, scholarships, grants, training programs within, the network of the women, but also broader and across different industries. There's a lot of work that can still be done from a mentorship standpoint to promote and advocate for gender equality. I think we need to look at not just the lives of women, but girls around the world when it comes to mentorship support, and learn to celebrate successes, not just to create opportunities for mentorship, but to look beyond that and see where the women are really making significant contributions and moving beyond their comfort zone and challenging themselves.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. Dr. Fauzia, I have always had this a question, and I'm going to talk now on behalf of all the staff. All right. Now, every staff member in this university is going to be a leader one day, right? They're leaders wherever they are currently in their roles. They're growing into leaders. But this word, mentor, is usually not used a lot. I'm not stereotyping any cultures, but it's not used very often. So I want to know from you, how important is it to have a mentor to grow as a leader?
Thank you. Thank you very much for, in fact, when you asked the question, I was thinking, are you going to repeat the mentoring topic to me or not? So I was trying to figure my strategy.
No, you were talking to me through brainwaves. I got it. I got it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you felt me then. I will come to that question,
Sure.
but before that, as you started with that, everybody in the staff or in faculty would like to or will be becoming a leader. First of all, understand this. The theme of today's talk is inspire inclusion. My suggestion and my thinking is, instead of talking about mentoring first, we should talk about inspire yourself to be included.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Okay. Inspire yourself to be included.
Fantastic.
So instead of asking that what others will be doing as a mentoring, I strongly propose this, that as a female leaders and future leaders, why don't you first inspire yourself, update your skills, create a strategic career vision for yourself, so that, and even when I see create a strategic career vision for yourself, here comes the selection of mentors. Okay. So like-minded people. So you need to meet, you need to network, you need to collaborate and see, okay, that's the men or women whom I want to get, as a mentor. Okay. And don't feel shy to approach them, whether it's a male or female. I can go to Dr. Sofian, or I could go to Professor Ghassan saying that, look, Professor Ghassan, I really want to follow your footsteps. I like your charisma and I really want to be the leader like you. Would you like to please guide me how? Okay. And I should pour my heart there in whatever the things he says. So coming back to the point here is that instead of talking about what mentoring support you will be getting from the institution at the workplace, whether it's higher education or so, first look within, inspire yourself to be included. This is one thing. Second, in terms of, as you asked, what is the role? I think I already covered that.
You just flipped me. You just flipped me. You took it and you flipped it and you said, let me do you one better, Jennifer. I love it, Dr. Fawzia. Go on.
So thank you. Thank you so much. That's the art of talking. So now the second thing here is, as I said, and you have asked, that what role mentor plays in your career, in your life. It's not only about finding a suitable or good mentor for your professional career. Mentoring can be done for your personal life as well. So again, the thing is, there are many cases where the female, they fail to have a work-life balance. They are very good because they got a professional mentor, but they didn't perform well in their personal lives. Okay. So again, the second suggestion here is that you need to have a combination. The mentor that you are choosing, they should make sure, here comes the importance of mentoring, that the mentor should also ensure that not only climbing on the success ladder in professional, but as making that person whom you are mentoring should be a good, ethical individually as well. Okay, so I think that's.
You're on fire, Dr. Fawzia. Fire. Whoosh. I'm telling you,
so much.
Need some fire extinguisher. I don't know what to do with this panel right now. I mean, they're going on and they're just going on. Miss Layla, I have a question for you. Are you ready, Miss Layla? Miss Layla?
Yes, Jennifer, I'm here.
Oh,
Please don't be tough.
Miss Layla.
Yes, tell me, dear.
I don't know how we're going to follow it, but I know you're going to take us to a new level. How can women support one another in their organizations?
Okay. It's a nice topic.
Tell me, how can we do that?
Okay. First thing, like I'll put some example from my daily life. One of the things, I listen carefully for my staff. I try to put myself in their shoes. I try to support them. I try to mentor them. From time to time, I understand that there will be a good days and a bad days. So I try to be very fair. Also, on the other hand, I give some flexibility in working hours. I know sometimes if they have some problem at home, we need to be women together, as they say. So the power of women. So I have to support them all the way. If they need a support in their education, I give them a guidance what they need to do. If they need a help or they have some issues, I listen, I sit with them. I'm their friend, I'm their mentor. So most of the time I sit with my female staff, and I do that also with my male staff, but usually, you know, the females, we like to talk more. So I sit with them and I try to listen for them, give them from my experience, guide them, help them to balance their life, their issues, their workload, and things like that. And as I mentioned, I try to be a human when I'm dealing with every one of the staff. I try to put myself in their shoes. I know they are mothers, they are wives. They left their home, they're coming to work. They are trying to get higher positions. They're trying to prove themselves. So my duties as a manager, I try to help them to reach their success, to reach their ambitious, and guide them all the way.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Miss Leila, especially guide them all the way. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
now I'm going to take a little shift, and I want to hear a personal story. Oh, what happened? Oh, I thought you wanted to tell me a personal story. I'm just checking. Okay. Miss Allison. So I would like to hear a personal story, and I know you have fantastic ones. So can you share any personal antidotes or examples of overcoming barriers to inclusion in your career journey? Go ahead.
Jennifer, you always give me the hardest.
I'm on fire, I'm telling you.
This is kind of hard to answer because I am, I'm a product of the Caribbean, product of Guyana, and with that kind of background, climbing the ladder is very, very, very difficult. And why I say this, and let me back up for a bit. Coming from Guyana and South and the Caribbean, women have already taken the role of senior management in different positions in parts of the world. My family, so to speak, my mom had a very senior role, and all her friends had senior roles. So for me, women being in power was not something seen as you can't hit the glass, you hit the glass ceiling. I can see women in my life, all my mentors, all people that I look up to were always striving and being given opportunities. And as Dr. Fawzia said, they made themselves available to be included, which means they prepared themselves education-wise, work-wise, and they always were included in whatever decision making. But having moved from that region and moved into a different region, it became very evident that women are not that easily accepted in the international world. And I look at the UAE as international world. But I have to make a sidestep here. The leaders of the UAE have really included women, and I have to say that. And this is something that they have started to do from the inception of the UAE in 1971, 1972. And we can see that in the list that Christina shared in 2010, one person being able to go all the way to the North Pole. And when I was at HCT, the first woman to fly one of the fighter jets was a product of HCT. I think she was from the Al Mansouri family. So that shows you that in this region, they actually support women. Does that trickle down to other organizations? Sometimes no. But my experience has been, and this is a personal story, where I have made myself available to be included, and I have prepared myself. There are times when I feel as though my voice has been overlooked, but there are other times when I feel my voice has been heard. And that has brought me to where I am today. Some people feel that your career should grow fast. I think my career is growing just at the pace that I want it to grow. Reason being because I take time out to mentor and to coach. And I always say that as I am growing in my career, I want other women to grow with me. It's not something that I should do alone. I think it's something that we should always empower other women around us to grow, and men. Where we have men that we would like to empower in our lives, we should use the opportunity to empower both men and women. The world cannot be balanced on women only. So even though we're thinking inspire, include women, we have to also include men. They can't be left behind. So if you are in a position where you can mentor a young man, mentor a young woman, I'm the mother of 3 boys, so I must speak on their behalf. Where a woman has a power to mentor a young person, man or woman, they should take that opportunity and use that life experience to make you grow as a woman. And my personal experience in growing and being accepted hasn't been that difficult. I must say it hasn't been that difficult, but I can see where colleagues of mine have had a difficulty in terms of being able to be accepted. But for me, my motto has always been, when the time is right, I'll be given the opportunity. And currently, the management of ADU has given the opportunity to every woman who would like to succeed. We must say in our new Chancellor, Professor Ghassan has really empowered women and has given us a voice where he can to make sure we're heard and our opinions are heard and implemented where possible. So thank you again, Jennifer, for that question.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
Yes, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. That's brilliant. So now I'm going to move over to the SDGs. Now, when someone told me the other day, we're going to do some SDGs, I was sitting there, what on earth are these SDGs? They are the Sustainable Developmental Goals that the UN has put out. There are 17 of them, and we're just going to look at 2 of them. So the first one is the SDG 5, which is gender equality. And the main goal of this SDG is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. And the second one is SDG 8, that targets decent work and economic growth, which focuses on promoting employment and decent work for all women. So that's from the UN. And I have a couple of questions from that. Are we excited about those questions? Yes, we are. Yes, we are excited about it. So I'm going to first throw the first question to Dr. Tina. Dr. Tina, my favorite person. How can governments and policy makers create an enabling environment that supports women's leadership and participation in decision-making processes as part of a broader effort to achieve SDG targets for inclusiveness?
I would say, thank you for the question. I would say first, there has to be an effort to implement inclusive policies. So what I mean by that is that organizations and governments should adopt and also enforce policies that promote diversity and inclusion in leadership roles. So this would include setting very clear targets for women's representation in leadership. And not just that, but creating pathways for advancement that are really clear from a HR standpoint and manager standpoint as to what these women have to do to be able to advance. It goes without saying that education and training, investment in education and professional development for women from diverse backgrounds is crucial. This would include, for instance, having scholarships, mentorship programs. We've talked a lot about mentorship today, and leadership training that is specifically designed to prepare women for leadership roles. I think another thing that we have to be careful about is ensuring that organizations, both government and private, should conduct training for all employees, especially hiring managers and decision makers, to help them recognize and mitigate those unconscious biases that affect recruitment, promotion, retention of women in leadership positions. That's something that's often overlooked across the board, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement there. Earlier, I talked about encouraging male allies. I think this is something that we should definitely think of strongly, finding men at all levels in organizations that can stand as allies and support and advocate for gender equality and advancement of women in leadership roles. And then obviously ensuring that all of these measures are regularly reviewed and adapted, monitored to kind of see where are we making progress in gender equality within organizations and sectors, and how can we create better strategies to meet the goal of inclusiveness for the future.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Chris. Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. So Dr. Fauzia, tagging on to that, how can the private sector collaborate with governments and civil society to advance gender equality and women's empowerment, particularly in industries that are traditionally dominated by men?
Well, I will start with an example here. Recently, I was reading before I was invited in this panel discussion, as I'm a big proponent of gender equality and so on. So means I extensively read the literature on this. So recently there was a statistics by Times Higher Education. And I was very happy to see that almost out of 200 top universities worldwide, out of 250 universities have their head as female. So, which is a significant increase, that is 25% almost positions are held by women. Now, I didn't probe further that whether it's a private institution or public institution. However, if you look at the question that you have asked, that there should be, I truly understand that a lot of efforts have been done, initiated, implemented in the government, or you can say public sector side. However, if you look at from other regions, private sectors have more female representation as compared to the public sector. So here, basically, public sector has more drive. But I am not very much confirmed with the statistics here. But if you look at being in this region for almost 20 years and looking at public and private sector, if you see that majority of the private sector higher positions are taken by the male counterparts as compared to females. Whereas the recent shift in the empowerment in public sector is basically the drive from the government side. So now the solution here is that there is a big gap of understanding between the private sector and public sector. Now we need to go deeper inside in terms of regional differences, cultural differences, and various other things. However, at the end of the day, the organizations, because I teach international business, and I firmly believe that you can't focus on ethnocentric beliefs. You have to embrace a geocentric approach, which is very much feasible for your organization in a nutshell, instead of looking at national differences or you can say other priorities. So my suggestion here is that you need to figure out and understand and embrace the value of inclusivity. You need to understand the gender equality, and there should be a bridge, means the government should act as a bridge between the public and private sector, so that there should be one common agenda, and that is female empowerment. So without looking at whether it is public sector or private sector, irrespective of whatever the ethnicity, whatever the nationality, etc., when we are looking at SDG goals, which is 5 and 8, thank you very much for pointing that out, equality should be embraced. And for that, now here comes, how do we prepare the leaders? Okay. So as Dr. Tina has pointed out, and many of my esteemed co-panelists have pointed out, preparing them for future is important. Okay. They are not going to become empowered one fine morning that, okay, these are the tablets of vitamins, from tomorrow onwards, you need to act as a leader. Okay. So there should be, again, a career progression plan from within and from outside, both in public sector and private sector. And then looking at all these gradual, this thing, I'm not saying that everybody will become the female leader next year. But if this drive continues, the knowledge sharing behavior continues instead of knowledge hiding and hoarding, then definitely these efforts will improve the statistics of female leadership. And I'm not at all saying that 100% positions or leadership positions should be taken by the females. We want equality. That's the only thing. If we deserve, please prepare us for that. If we don't deserve, tell us where are the loopholes, and we should be given the chance. That's
So you're telling me we need a seat at the table. You know, I was reading this
Absolutely.
quote. If
Yeah.
there is not a seat at the table, bring a folding chair and sit.
yes, yeah, try to.
Might as well bring a folding chair out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
So
you so
Dr.
much.
Sofian. Hi, Dr. Sofian. So in what ways can technology and innovation be leveraged to empower women economically and politically, contributing to the achievement of the SDG objectives for gender equality?
Is that the question
Yes.
I'm supposed to answer? Well, I do believe, again, I am a great believer that, education will facilitate everything and will make everything possible. By having really educated, population, we will open more doors into that. Back into technology, e-commerce, for instance, right now, e-trade, for instance, right now, a woman can, do many things that we never imagined that could be possible. Look at the social media right now and how much it's influential in terms of, building alliances and advocating for the rights of women and, giving more opportunities over that. And even in my field in nutrition right now, I mean, in the past, I was taught that you have to have a physical place in order to start up your business and the clinic. Right now, my students are doing, business on WhatsApp and on Facebook and et cetera, et cetera. Utilizing all that technological tools that they have now, you can pay online using your credit card. You don't have to see your patients or even Teams or something. I do remember, which is a real story that happened with me back home, probably 15 years ago or 10 years ago. The president of our university asked us to develop an online course. And I was vehemently against that, and I thought at that time that the president was going to somehow dilute or water down the education. And now look at that. After 10 years or maybe 8 years, later we have COVID, and now the unthinkable is really reality. And we have to be prepared. We have to, I mean, how could our life would be without Teams, without other applications and now that? And now Teams is the norm.
True.
And everything. So we do have to, again, really get along with technology and be prepared for that, in order to really go ahead and to stay on the top of everything. So
Brilliant.
thank you.
You know, Dr. Sofian, even during COVID, we used Teams so much that I used to hear that ring in my sleep. Literally, team, 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 team. I'm like, oh, I'm telling you, it's like, I know the Teams ring apart from every other ring. It's amazing how life has changed.
And we have actually, speaking about my college, actually, we have remote working right now. And these are one of the things that we have to work on and to improve, not right now. I'm a great believer that I don't believe, I believe in the quality of work, not the quantity. So you could do the work, and as long as you as a dean, I'm not a micromanager. I only give tasks, and I expect deliverables to be executed regardless of the place. So that facilitates a lot. I think I do believe that the productivity has gone up in terms of that. And if I get a chance, actually, I'd like to speak about my role as an acting dean of the College of Health Sciences, if I get a chance, because I really gonna speak about my daily, things that I've learned, and I am really doing, since this is a unique opportunity that 70 to 75% of the faculties are women, and really, this is something, if I get a chance.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sophia. Now, I know we are, coming close to our time, but there's just a few more questions that I have. So just hang in there with me. My audience, hang in there with me. We're going to do great because we just want to tackle a few more. Dr. Tina, I have a question for you in which I wanted to ask, how can we ensure that women from diverse backgrounds have equal access to leadership positions in both public and private sectors, in alignment with the SDG for inclusiveness?
I would go back to some of the points that I had made before in terms of implementing inclusive policies that would be across the board for organizations, and that pertains particularly to promoting women who are in, especially women from minority groups, all women, but to promote from a lens of diversity and inclusion, specifically for leadership roles. So implementing inclusive policies across the board would be one. Education and training, allowing those women to get the chance to grow their skills through specific programs that are targeted for leadership roles. Ensuring that we are addressing unconscious biases, and that relates to hiring managers and decision makers across organizations to ensure, recognize, and mitigate any unconscious biases that affect recruitment, promotion, and retention of women in leadership positions. I would also add that we need to promote work-life balance, and that means, ensuring that women who are naturally the ones who bear a disproportionate share of domestic responsibilities. That's a fact. We can't get away from that. We need to recognize that there is a need to implement flexible working arrangements and policies, especially for mothers who have to support, a large household in multiple ways, not just financially. That is something that can sometimes go unnoticed. And then again, it's this idea of regularly reviewing and adapting the progress that we are making towards gender equality, and using data analytics, just to kind of go back to the point about technology and how technology can help with empowerment of women. Looking at data analytics from a standpoint of what is the data telling us about the progress we've made, and where can we still do more. So these are some strategies, I think. It's not the exhaustive list, but that can help us move in the direction of having of being in alignment with the SDG for inclusiveness.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. Miss Christina, hello. I would like to know, let's go on a little lighter note. I don't know whether this is going to be a lighter note. Perhaps you can tell me after I tell you the question. So what are the benefits of having empowered women in an organization?
Oh, I think women bring a lot to the table. They bring a different perspective. And we have to remember that women are running their own domains at home every day. And a lot of those skills are transferable to any workplace. Now, what I have witnessed is, because sometimes there's a bit of an imbalance, the men tend to be sometimes very direct at going for what they want, whereas the women might take a step back and try to find a more inclusive way of taking the opinion of the group involved in coming to a decision. And so I think that women bring a lot of emotional intelligence, still drive, because they work very hard to prove that they deserve that seat. They will also bring a sense of nurturing to how they're going to coach and mentor the next generation. I think that they're perhaps also more ready to share their knowledge. And I think probably Dr. Fawzia can speak to this. There's a lot of research that talks about the benefits that women bring to the table when they're in leadership positions in organizations. They end up performing better. The organizations perform better.
That's true. That's true. So tacking on to the same thing, Dr. Fawzia, is the lack of empowerment an equality issue or an equity issue?
That's
heavy
and very heavy question. So, well, I think it's both to some extent. In some organizations and in some industry, it is more about equity issue, And in some organizations and some heavy kind of industries, it's equality issue. So, and these both terms are very, very heavy in nature, whether you talk about equity or equality, okay? Now, in terms of that, equality can be tangible or intangible, whereas equity can be in pay, especially the promotion or whatsoever, which are more tangible in nature. So again, the point here is that both points are important. My opinion, or you can say my humble suggestion here is that we need to consider both equity and equality for empowerment. It's not that you are talking about equality, but there is no equity in pay. So indirectly you are, or in any other sense, tangible sense. So there should be, again, what you are preaching in terms of equality, it should be also exhibited in equity terms. So that's, both are important. I will also talk about, as Ms. Christina has said, that I can put light on some of the positivity which the females can bring in the organization if they are the female leaders or on the higher positions. Empathy.
Big word.
Yeah, compassionate, collaboration. When you say collaboration, many times it is said that females don't like working in the team. But if you look at the house chores, or I personally believe that I derive the empowerment from the familial roles which the females, they work on, and they wonderfully do these tasks, which exhibits a great level of collaborative spirit, okay? They try to understand each other and so on. So the same positivity is, I'm not saying the males are not bringing, so please pardon me for that, but that empathy, collaboration, compassion, cohesiveness, okay, binding, okay? If you have heard, if not, I will explain more. Mother or females are considered as a glue in the family.
That's true. Yeah.
So if you look at the organization, we should promote this glue in a positive manner, so that they should have a positive energy, synergy, and the fragrance. Women are known for the fragrance.
Oh, goodness.
So that aroma should be there in the organization. So I think these are the things which females bring.
Don't worry. I'm so glad you said that, Dr. Fawzia, because Dr. Sufyan, guess what? In your tenure as the interim dean in the College of Health Science, how do you, sir, actively communicate with women at your workplace and make them feel included? You said you wanted a question. There it is.
I do, actually.
Yes, you did, sir. Yes, you did.
Especially, I can see some of the faculties are here, so I'm not sure if that is, I'm not sure if that is very supporting or watching me, what I'm going to say. So, but again, I'm learning, and this is very enriching to my life. I mean, dealing with this overwhelming majority of women. But I've been trained, so since speaking a little bit of personal issues, it's been a pleasure to see my wife executing her role in the World Bank and in terms of gender and woman empowerment in the economic growth. And I've been very supportive to her and very proud of her in terms of how many success stories and how many women she empowered in order to, and then now they are running a really successful businesses and in education in different areas. But I really deal with my colleagues with the utmost respect and admiration. I am really mesmerized, really with their giving and with their compassion and dedication. And I mean, look at that. I mean, you could see my colleagues, for instance, some of them, most of them, they have personal stories. And I look at myself as a male and like, gosh, if I were her, I wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, we have in this college, we have so many stories that I can share with you. Some faculties here, they don't have, they have, all of them, they have 2 kids. I mean, and they are handling all these stressful situations. Some women, they don't have their husbands and they are by themselves. They moved from different countries and they did all the moving, and they furnished their housing, and they are productive, and they're working very long hours, and they are publishing papers. And back to your point, Dr. Fawzia, they are very collaborative in terms of doing research and in terms of getting funding. And we have great examples. They are receiving great grants in the college. And all my job is really to support them and to listen to them, actively listening to them, and do empathy. And women's basically, I have a story with my colleagues that I am really working on. She came to me with something. I'm trying to help her, just because and I'm doing my best to help her. She came to me 2 days later, and she says, just because you listened, I am empowered and I feel appreciated, and I belong to this place. I have another faculty who just gave birth, and Dr. Amal, if you're listening, congratulations, and I hope.
Congratulations, Dr. Amal. Congratulations.
She just sent me an email, and I have done all my everything in my capacity to support her during this time. And she sent me an email asking for more time with her baby and something. And I feel like this is absolutely my job in order to help her, to empower her, and to, and again, back to remote working. I mean, she could contribute to the university without being physically there. So I'm really admire, this kind of this, collegiality that I'm seeing with that. And I feel fortunate, actually, that I am. Of course, it's challenging sometimes, and that is something which brings a different perspective to the table. But it is really something that I'm enjoying, and I'm really building on these great success stories.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I have my last final 2 questions, and Miss Layla. Miss Layla, can you hear me?
Yes, dear, I'm with you.
Brilliant. Miss Layla, can you tell us about someone who empowered you and what effect that had on your journey? She's thinking. She's deeply thinking.
I think we lost. Okay.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
there she is.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'll tell you about a person who really empowered me. My mom, thanks for her. She helped me. She put on a lot of belief on me, and she empowered me to take a decision about my life, and also to support my sister and my brothers in their career and also in their life. My mom, she's an old lady. She was having a lot of belief on me, and she put a lot of efforts to raise me as a independent, confident, take challenges, and also to not like I have to work hard. She teach me to do that. So she was the person who really empowered me and helped me to take my decision. In the time when I was like young, from my home country, the same story like Miss Allison, usually they think that the girl's supposed to follow the man, unfortunately. And there's a lot of things and a lot of opportunity the girl's supposed to not take. But with my mom belief and with her support, with her empowerment for me, I managed to live my alone, and also study and work and live my life, and also support her to even grow my with growing my brothers and my sister. So also she took a lot of a lot of advice from me, because she was like, she believed on everything I do, really. And this was where I am. If I'm here, it's because of my mom, to be honest.
Thank you so much, Ms. Layla. We are very grateful for amazing moms. We
Thank
celebrate our amazing moms. Dr. Tina, I have a question for you. How do you balance career, personal life, and passions? Like, is there such a thing as balance?
I would say it depends on how you view balance. For me, especially being a single mother, I have to be very honest with myself and set boundaries to allow me not to get to a point where I'm burnt out. It's happened in the past, and I've learned to look at these instances as valuable lessons. So I do some really basic things, I guess you could put it that way, on a daily basis to allow myself to be balanced. For instance, I try my best to always turn off my phone and computer, any kind of technology after a certain time of the day, and to focus exclusively on self-care, meditation. I do a lot of yoga, spending time with my son, and just spending time with myself to allow me to unplug and then recharge. I think it's very, very important to practice self-compassion when you are in a leadership role, to understand that you don't have to be a perfectionist, and that's something that I've struggled with, is understanding that there is no such thing as perfection. Being able to set boundaries, like I said before, knowing when to say no to work and when to say an uncompromising yes to personal time. This is what helps me stay focused and stay healthy and be able to continue, every day with a smile on my face, and to be there for my team, my colleagues, and my friends, and my son. I think on top of what I've said, there is a really strong need to practice mindfulness and gratitude on a daily basis, just to focus on the positive aspects, especially if you're in a leadership role. You tend to be very hard on yourself, and I'm sure you can all agree with me on that. But being able to constructively shift your perspective on a daily basis and see where you've gone wrong, where you could have improved, or things that you did really well, and be grateful for those instances. And just having this mindset of reflecting regularly, to be able to know that you are being very, again, mindful about your actions and the repercussions of those actions, and to just try and be a better version of yourself every day. I think that is the definition of empowerment right there. And it's something that I learned from a very young age. I was raised by my great-grandmother, and in her very simple island ways, she taught me that empowerment starts with the self.
That's marvelous. That's so marvelous. I had a great ending, to our fabulous time, but you just said it. Empowerment begins with ourselves. Wow. I mean, that's the way to end this panel session. I'm so sorry that even though we have ran out of time, but I wish we could keep going, because there's so much we can learn from our amazing panelists. So first of all, I would like to say thank you, Dr. Tina, for taking your precious time and joining us. Thank you so much to our amazing panelists. Thank you, Professor Ghassan. Dr. Ghassan, you're there?
I want to say a few words as well, please, Jennifer, when you finish. Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead, Dr. Ghassan.
No, when you finish, I will just say a few words, please.
No, I'm done. I'm done. Please, please. The floor is yours.
Oh, no, to thank the panelists, and I'll thank them anyway. Many thanks for the fantastic panel. I mean, and MC, Jennifer, of course, and my colleagues have done a fantastic job. I take one message: inspire yourself. It's all about inspiring yourself. I think Professor Fawzia mentioned it in her statement. And when Alison said about Chancellor empowering women, I'll be a stupid Chancellor if I don't empower women. And I will be a stupid leader if you think about it. In terms of economic development, if we don't inspire inclusion, I'm depriving my university or company or my country of 50% of the economic development. And research has shown that homogeneous teams are extremely boring, while diverse teams are much more productive, much more fun, and so on. So when you look at the business case for inspiring inclusion, let's just look at it from the economics. I think it will be silly to exclude 50% of the population from contributing to the economic development of a country. And this is a sense of urgency for me to inspire women for sure. Many thanks to everybody who attended. The panelists were absolutely amazing. It was a pleasure listening, and many thanks to whoever attended. You can see, Alison, when you talk about leadership, at the International Family Fund Day, you have done this discussion today. It showed the quality of leadership. I don't need to say a word about this. So having diverse teams, very, very helpful for us. I hate it when I go and attend a meeting dominated by men. I really hate it. Dr. Hamad knows that. Dr. Hamad knows. I tell him all the time. So grateful to all of you, Sushma as well, who work in the background, Hudud, Dr. Hamad, everybody who worked hard. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, keep inspiring inclusion, and do not forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, every social media platform. Keep continuing to follow us. And remember, we're going to bring you even more engaging conversations, even more engaging discussions. And if you haven't chosen the university of your choice, remember, choose Abu Dhabi University. So thank you, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.